Hunter Biden linked real estate firm got at least $100 million dollars from a Russian oligarch, according to sources. A real estate company with ties to first son Hunter Biden received more than $100 million dollars from a Russian billionaire for property investments across the U.S. that date back a decade, sources have told the Post. The hefty cash injections into Rosemont Realty came from Elena Baturina, one of Russia's wealthiest women, the widow of the former mayor of Moscow and a close ally of Moscow tyrant Vladimir Putin, the sources said. In one portfolio deal, Baturina paid at least $40 million dollars to Rosemont to invest in office buildings across the country, according to a source with knowledge of the transactions. By the way, can you even just fathom having $40 million just drop for fun to invest? Such crazy money. That money went toward the 2012 purchase of 7 office buildings in Texas, Colorado, Alabama, New Mexico, and Oklahoma, according to deal related emails obtained by DailyMail.com. The investment purportedly came from Inteco Management AG, the Swiss company owned by Baturina. This isn't the first time President Biden's 52-year-old son has been linked to Baturina, whose late husband, Yuri Luskov, was a mayor of Russia's capital for more than 18 years before being dismissed by then President Dmitry Medvedev in 2010. Baturina, who has an estimated net worth of $1.4 billion, dollars, crazy amounts of money, had wired $3.5 million in 2014 to a bank account held by Rosemont Seneca Thornton, a consortium formed between Hunter's investment company, Rosemont Seneca, and the Boston-based Thornton Group. Like Rosemont Realty, Rosemont Seneca Thornton is an offshoot of Rosemont Capital Partners, a private equity firm co-founded by Hunter Biden and Chris Hines, the stepson of former Secretary of State John Kerry and son of the late Pennsylvania Senator Chris Hines. The 2014 transfer was later scrutinized in a 2020 report commissioned by Senate Republicans probing Hunter's ties to Ukraine after Baturina's transfers were flagged in suspicious activity reports filed by banks to the U.S. Treasury Department. Hunter's lawyer, George Messiers, denied Biden's son profited from that transaction, telling CNN at the time, Hunter Biden had no interest in and was not a co-founder of Rosemont Seneca Thornton, so the claim that he was paid $3.5 million dollars is false. The GOP report, overseen by Senators Ron Johnson and Chuck Grassley, described Baturina's involvement with Hunter as a financial relationship, but did not touch on why the wire transfer was made. The question of who pocketed the $3.5 million has never been determined. In less than 2 months after the wire transfer, Hunter and his then business partner, Devin Archer, met with Baturina in April 2014 at the Villa d'Este, a well-known haunt of Russian oligarchs overlooking Lake Como, Italy. According to emails uncovered from Hunter's infamous laptop, the one that apparently doesn't really exist to the FBI, Baturina's name also popped up that same month regarding a possible real estate deal in New York's Chelsea neighborhood, as well as a Latin American cocoa venture. Despite denying ever discussing his son's business dealings, Biden attended a dinner at Cafe Milano in Washington, D.C. with his troubled son's business associates in April 2015. Baturina and Loskov, who died in 2019 after complications from heart surgery, were among those invited to the dinner, according to a copy of the guest list that Hunter had emailed to Archer 3 weeks prior. While the records on the laptop don't make clear whether Baturina ended up at the dinner, Archer had emailed Hunter ahead of the event to say she didn't want to attend. Yelena doesn't want to steal Yuri's Thunder, so she'll be in town to meet with us, but doesn't want to come to dinner, Archer wrote on March 20th. That was just her thoughts. We could insist. The emails detailing Ballerina's $40 million real estate investments came from a leak obtained by the Kazakhstani Initiative on Asset Recovery, an anti corruption group focusing on the former Soviet Republic. The messages were exchanged between Archer and Kenneth Rakeshev, a Kazakhstani businessman who was photographed with Hunter and Joe Biden at the Cafe Milano dinner. And Teco, who I know you know, is taking a significant equity piece. We'd love to have you on board, Archer wrote in an email to Rakeshev. I know you mentioned you were less interested in real estate, but this is a deal we're closing next month and it's just too attractive not to share. Hunter's attorneys did not immediately respond to the post's request for comment. So I thought this was interesting because, like, the things that I never really understand is that why do people who are able and have made disgusting amounts of money end up doing shadier and shadier things to try to make even more money, right? I think for the most part, most people, if somehow you were able to make like $10 million, dollars, let's just say $10 million, dollars, you probably would want to just relax and enjoy the money, right? But it seems like so many politicians, so many people tied to politicians, always are willing to do things kinda under the table for even more money. But the thing is, like, after you get to a certain point of like net worth and income per year, what does more money get you that you weren't getting before? Why are you going through all these hassles to try to make more money when you don't really need to be making more money? Like, there's no need to. Like, is it just a game at a certain point? I mean, possibly, but it's just like, it just seems odd to me to have to go through all of this nonsense to try to make more millions of dollars, even though you've already made millions of dollars. Let's see. 14 new comments. Which crime family is worse, Biden's or the Clintons? Ever wonder why Hunter is the way he is? The reason why Hunter is the way he is has to be due to the father. Oh, wow. Amazing. FYI, the Russian billionaire Elena Baturina, former First Lady of Moscow, and her husband, former mayor of Moscow, were strong, outspoken proponents of Russia invading and taking Crimea. The 3.5 million came into the Biden camp right around the time of the 2014 invasion of Crimea. Obama Biden did nothing but provide Ukraine non-lethal assistance, including blankets and food. They had begged him for weapons. That said, Hunter Biden received 3.5 million wire transfer from Russian billionaire, according to a Senate report by Emily Jacobs, New York Post, September 23rd, 2020. Hunter Biden received a $3.5 million wire transfer from Elena Baturina, the richest woman in Russia, and the widow of Yuri Loskov, the former mayor. Blah, 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 blah. So February, March 2014, Obama Biden administration. In February and March 2014, Russia invaded and subsequently annexed the Crimean Peninsula from Ukraine. Interesting. Like, if this is truly the case of like Hunter Biden basically getting paid potentially millions of dollars and basically playing like a game of risk, pretty much, for money. It doesn't really bode well for the future of really any country because if that's just how this game is played, then it's always going to basically land in the hands of people who have the most money, right? Which really isn't the United States, and that's a pretty dark future.